The education system sucks, and here's why. It's a business.
You can attach meaning to your life, but that meaning is yours and yours alone. It's not objective. It's not an absolute.
I'm not saying that no one should go to school, that school is evil. They're not trying to be evil. There's legitimate reasons why they have school. And it's good in a sense that it maintains homeostasis in a society. It maintains peace and education and knowledge within society, making it accessible to all of us. But the problem is, while homeostasis can be good for certain systems, it doesn't allow for the best optimal personal growth for you. There's a lot of things in school that are very limiting. School is stuck in, I guess, this paradigm of, going up the ladder of grades, trying to outcompete the other students to go on top. This degree mentality type of thing. It's a very easily trackable algorithm. It's predictable, repeatable, and it's always the same thing. It's very similar to a factory if you think about it. So you go to school. Since you're a very little kid, you're like a product. We give you a name. Yeah, your parents give you a name, but once you go to school, what do they give you? They give you this little card that you wrap around your neck. You have this little thing, in kindergarten, oh, this is my name and my student number. This is my avatar, or whatever. There's funny animal sticker things. Since you're a kid. Then we bring you to elementary school. We assign you a number. We assign you a seat. And when you get grades, we give you the grades in terms of either letters or numbers or whatever, You come in as a product at 3 years old, and then 15 to 20 years later, depending on how long you stay at school, you come out of there and you're a finished product, ready for the middle class society. Go to a job, do regular things like everybody else. All of this, think about it. It's not for your personal benefit at all. It's for the benefit of the society, right? To maintain the homeostasis, to maintain the order of everything. The people on top will tell you to get a job so you can work for the people on top. It only makes sense. The advice of the people on top, they'll tell you, yeah, dude, just go to school, everything. That's what teachers will tell you. That's what politicians will tell you. That's what politicians support: education. Government supports education. We support education. Society supports education. And if you talk shit about education, then you're basically like some evil Machiavellian fuck. That's like some Sith Lord, because how can you talk shit about education? Oh my God. No, we're making society better, right? Everyone says it's something good. You're conditioned into believing that the education system is good and is the only thing. But it's only one paradigm out of many. Back in the medieval times, back in the old times, instead of schools, people had mentors, and they went through an apprenticeship where they would practice and learn from a mentor, a teacher that would guide them every single step of the way. And I kind of miss that. We don't really have that now. Now we have one teacher and a lecture room of 200 students, and the teacher is entirely disconnected from their students. There's not much of this mentor-apprentice dynamic anymore. It's like a factory. It's like communism. I don't know. The problem with the system, is that it keeps you dependent. It keeps you weak, because you have to depend on a superior to tell you what to do. You need to depend on a superior to give you your grades. You need to depend on a superior to judge your value as a student, right? What is your value as a student, basically? Very simple. The grades on your report card. That's all the value that you have. Oh, and the money that you give them. But we're not supposed to talk about it because it's education. Alright, so that's the only value you have in this institution. Now, how limiting is that? Imagine your entire life, since you're a little kid, all the way until adulthood. You're conditioned into believing that the grades are all that you are. The grades are what determines your future, right? Which is the biggest bullshit lie ever. Which has nothing to do with your human potential, your creative potential, what you can produce into this world, what you can bring about into this world. So what are the areas that school doesn't talk about? The areas that are left untouched, that no one talks about, that school doesn't teach you. Emotional mastery, social skills, social mastery, self-awareness, awareness of you, right? Of your own values and what you value in life, what's important to you. Creativity and critical thinking. Sure, you might have a class on argumentation or whatever, or philosophy, right? Do you really think that a philosophy class teaches you creativity and creative thinking? The creative thinking in a philosophy class is only within the perimeters of this class. Same in an art class. The creativity will be under a set of rules and with the same type of grading. If you came in with like an art of like, let's say you do like Andy Warhol, you come into class, you take a toilet from the fucking, like some used old toilet and you write your name on it, like Andy Warhol. You bring it to class, what is the teacher going to give you? They're going to give you like a shit grade. They're like, oh, well, you bring shit to class? Ha ha ha, toilet, ho 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 ho. No pun intended. You bring shit to class, I give you a shit grade. Well, guess what? Andy Warhol did this, and it fucking worked. People loved it. So you can't grade art. It's only pseudo creativity that they teach you in school. It's not actual creativity. They don't teach you about self-improvement. They don't teach you about spirituality and self-development work. They don't teach you about meditation. They don't teach you about sales, entrepreneurship, business. Sure, they kind of do, but in a very theoretical setting, not in a practical setting. And one last thing, school never teaches you to be self-reliant, to be independent, and to be your own boss. Ever. You know what school teaches you? They teach you to follow orders. So what happens when you get out of school? Then you go seek for your next master, someone else to tell you what to do, because in school you never exert your decision-making abilities. All right. Why don't you take decisions in school? Because the teacher tells you everything you have to do. Oh, write a paper on this. Do this problem. Fix this problem, right? Even if the problem is very hard and you learn a lot. I understand you learn a lot, but you don't learn to make decisions independently, self-reliantly. Okay, now those are the things that that they don't teach you in school. How about the bad things and the lies that they teach you? I've got about 8 of them, so you're gonna like this, I'm pretty sure. Be ready for a punch in the face. Hell yeah, bitches. So lie number 1. The people at the top of the pyramid, they know what's best for you. The teachers, the successful people, they know the best answer for you, right? And it's to go to school and get a job, right? Well, obviously the people in the top want you to get a job. You know what? Because if you have a job, you become dependent on the people on the top. So it serves their agenda. It serves them more than it serves you. They don't want you to be your own boss. Imagine if everyone was their own boss, it would be chaos. No, they don't want own bosses. They want slaves. They want slaves. The second bad thing they teach you in school is to only be rewarded when you bow down to authority. That is a massive one, by the way. They only reward you when you bow down to authority and follow authority. You will never be rewarded for stepping it up and living your own life, ever, at school. If you rebel, you will be kicked out of school. If you think critically a little too far, they won't like it. You have to conform to school. Lie number 3, the books are always right. Your teachers are always right. The scientific texts that you read in class, they're always right. Your textbooks, they're always right. They're not always right. Authority is not always right. No one is ever always right. But school will never tell you that. School will tell you, well, we are right, so listen to us. You're just a student. This is very similar to what your parents probably want you to believe. Your parents want you to believe that they are always right. So similarly, this school dynamic, I guess, mimics similar parent dynamics in some ways. So because it's similar to how your parents treat you, then you see something, it's easy, they just tell you what to do, like, oh, they're right. Since they're right, I don't need to think, just follow them. Because making your own decisions is one of the hardest things in life. And we like to believe that we know how to take decisions, right? We like to believe, oh yeah, I know how to take decisions. Like, I've decided to go to this school. Sure, you maybe decided to go to this school, but there were so many other implicit pressures that made you go to that school. Just be careful. Lie number 4, if you go through the ranks of school, you will be guaranteed a job. Well, that's bullshit. Depending on the field you're in, if you study medicine, then you might be guaranteed a job, because then there are not that many doctors out there. They always need more doctors. If you study arts, you're not guaranteed a job at all. You're guaranteed jack shit, right? So you're not guaranteed a job. That's a lie. It's just to sell you. Lie number 5, bad little boys and bad little girls, rebellious kids, they don't succeed at school. To prove the point, they always end up with bad marks, stereotypically, because school doesn't reward bad boys and bad girls. School doesn't reward kids that want to do it their own way, want to break the rules a little. If you break the rules, you will have bad grades. Simple as that. You will have bad results. Another lie, your value is determined by the value on your report card, as I've said earlier. Lie number 7, work and education is not supposed to be fun. Work and education is just something that you do because you have to do it, right? It's kind of the frame everywhere in education systems that try to remember in high school. If you said that you liked school, people would make fun of you. Be like, oh, you like school? Huh, you're a nerd. The culture of school is that it's supposed to be boring. The underlying undertone of school is that it sucks balls, right? It's the message that they're implicitly conveying at school, is that you have to do it. It's mandatory. So indirectly, they're not making education fun. They're making it a chore and something horrible. Because students don't go at their own will. They go because they have to go. And then because they have to go and they're forced to go, they start resenting going to school. They don't like school. Have you ever really liked something, but because you were forced to do it by somebody else, someone else forced you to do it, perhaps your parents, you start to resent that thing that you used to like and not want to do it? There's actually a very sad story with me with when I want to learn the piano. I used to love playing the piano really much, really, really much. I've studied piano for 12 years, and after 12 years, I just stopped playing. The reason why I stopped playing is because on the 12th year, I was giving it all, like I do like the examinations, the exams at the end where like they give you your certificate that you're like highest level ever, university level piano, some like hardcore shit. And I did all this. But near the end, my parents kept pushing me to study, to practice. My teacher kept telling me, you have to practice. And if I only practice, let's say 30 minutes per day, they will like say it's not enough. They'll like, you should practice more. And I started resenting it. And it was like, I was practicing the piano just to please my parents. Not even because I liked it, but because I guess unconsciously I thought it was the only way I would have their validation and their love. Every time I sit to a piano, I have this very ambivalent feeling of like all those years that like I've done this, that like something I like has been like taken away from me to, I guess, be pressured to do it. So this is what school is doing to our education. It's making education not fun because they're forcing you to go. And they're giving you penalties if you don't want to learn. I don't think it's a good way to go about it. But hey, think about it. So on the last note, since school fucking sucks, how do we learn now? How the fuck do we learn? Well, real education. I'll leave you on that. Read books and apply what the book says. Biographies, nonfiction, self-development books, spirituality books, fiction books, even all type of books, philosophy, real life experience. The best teacher is real life experience. Overcoming obstacles and hardships in life. Because in school you don't really, the hardships you face in school are like a bad grade, right? A bad number on the report card. But real hardships you learn from life. From going through life. The problems that are given at school are just very hypothetical problems, let's say in a math textbook or in like some sort of book, right? Some textbook. But it's not an actual problem. So you'll only be trained to, I guess, deal with imaginary problems. No. Learn real problems. Everything you can learn from. Real life entrepreneurship. Learning sales, right? That's more practical. Finance, your money. Learn your own self-development. You learn from that. Meditation, spiritual work. Socializing, going out and talking to people. You'll learn a lot just from that. Going through an apprenticeship. Learning from the masters in something, in one domain, right? You can learn from that. Developing skills, so fucking important. Skills. Leadership, photography, art, software, engineering, whatever, coding, photoshopping, painting, whatever it is, developing skills. That is what people want. That is what you want. More than a stupid piece of paper with your name on it. Conclusion to all this, I'm not condemning school. I'm not saying school is, you have to drop out of school. That's not what I'm saying. And there's definitely great things you learn from school. Heck, I've gone to school and I'm finishing up school right now. There's a lot of things I've learned from school. But I don't let school be my only teacher. I'll let school be about 10% of my life, of what I learned from. Maybe 20% of my life, this is where I've learned from. But that's it. Because most people, they give 100% to school. No, there are great things to learn in school. But only about like 10%. 20% maybe. That's just my opinion. because most of it is just very limiting. So learn from school. Stay in school. If you like school, you need school for what you want to do, stay in school. But as you're in school, use your critical thinking. Ask yourself, okay, the teacher's saying this, but is he or she always right? Are they always right or not? Because they might not be. They might not be always right. Just use your critical thinking, all right? And be aware that it is a system. It is a business. So with this in mind, hopefully you'll be able to see with a better perspective. So thank you guys for watching, bitches. Click on the bell so you receive all my fucking videos. I read every single comment. So leave your comments below and I'll reply to them. And the best suggestion, I'll make a video about it. So peace, bitches.